Hey everyone, it's Melissa. Today I'm going to attempt to talk about what my diet is. And I say attempt. I tried to do it yesterday. I've had this respiratory stuff. I made the video yesterday. I coughed and sniffed all through it. So I can't put that one up. So I'm trying it again today. I've blown my nose. I've taken my cough syrup and, tried to get everything under control, put makeup on my red nose, so I will attempt to do it again. Okay, my diet. A couple of people had asked me to talk about my diet, and quite frankly, I don't have the best nutrition in the world. I don't have the worst, but I don't have the best. And there are other people on YouTube that, they make videos and they study it so much, and they know which things are so good for you and things like that. So probably you would be better served to do a search and videos like that. But since I was asked, I thought that I would go ahead and share it. But keep in mind, it's a diet that works for me and what my needs are. So I'll start off by saying that I have Crohn's disease, and Crohn's disease is a disease of your digestive system that affects my intestines. So I have to gear my diet toward that. And I've been very ill over the years since I was a teenager with it, off and on. A couple of years ago, I experimented with going gluten-free, and it just cleared it right up pretty much. I mean, there's no cure for it, but it just really gave me my life back. The last testing that I had done, the doctor said he'd never seen my intestines look so healthy. So obviously, a big part of my diet is eliminating gluten from my diet. So that's my number one thing that I would say that I do is eliminate gluten from my diet. Okay, the vitamins that I take a multivitamin. I take another extra iron because I do run anemic. I take a extra D3. And then once a month I have to get a B12 shot because there's an area of my intestines that are missing that absorbs B12, so my body doesn't have the ability to absorb B12 anymore, so I have to have a shot for that every month. So those are my vitamins that I take. The way we eat, well, first let me say, I weigh pretty much the same as I did when I was a teenager. There have been times in my life when I have weighed more, obviously when I was pregnant with my 2 children, but I got that weight off. And there have been a few times when to get my Crohn's disease under control, I've had to take large amounts, high doses of steroids, prednisone steroids. And a side effect of that is that it makes you gain weight. You're just incredibly hungry all the time. You just get heavier. So there have been times that I have had to, when I've gotten off my prednisone, that I've had to lose 15 up to 20 pounds a few times. And the best way that I did that I found worked for me was for Weight Watchers. I had incredible success using Weight Watchers. At first I went to meetings and then I did it online, and it just worked really well for me because it made me accountable for the food that I was eating. And I'm going to right now talk about a channel. It's a friend of mine. Her name is Christine Richard, and she does menus, and she does her grocery hauls and different recipes and stuff, and everything is geared toward Weight Watchers. She gives you the points, like she has her grocery haul, and she tells you how many points each item has. She tells you what she's going to eat, for that whole week, and then she will tell you how many points are beside the whole meal and each part of the meal. She has special treats so that you don't feel deprived, and she gives the recipe or will link the recipe. Everything that she makes is geared toward a Weight Watchers lifestyle, and I cannot highly recommend her channel enough for following along and doing that. I never miss her videos and always learn something and learn a new recipe to fix. So be sure you subscribe while you're there when you check out her channel, because it's really, really a good one, especially if you want to lose weight by doing Weight Watchers. Okay, what I do eat and the way we eat. The way that Doug and I eat is we try to eat as locally and close to earth as we possibly can, if that makes sense. My nephew has cattle, so we try to buy meat from him because we know, or beef, because we know when it's eaten, that it's been grass-fed, that it has no antibiotics, and it does not have any any hormones in it. So we, that's important to us. Our poultry is free range, our eggs are free range. We try to buy our vegetables organically and our fruit organically. We try to buy from the Mennonites. They have a village right outside of town, and they grow their vegetables that way. And that is another example of how we like to try to eat locally. I tend to try to cook what's in season. So in the summer I'll have a lot more fresh vegetables probably than I do in the wintertime. In the wintertime I'll have your squashes and your sweet potatoes and things like that that are geared more toward that. We have a freezer, so I try to, my arm's been bothering me this year, so I don't know if I'll be able to, but I try to freeze corn, I try to freeze green beans, and I try to freeze okra. The vegetables that I get out there with the Mennonites, I'll bring it home and freeze it, and then we have it fresh in the wintertime. So that's the way that we try to eat. We don't always succeed, but we try to. The things that I don't eat, like I said, I don't eat gluten. I don't eat shellfish. I'm allergic to it. That was weird. My daughter was in college in Memphis, and we went over there and ate at Red Lobster, which I had eaten shellfish a million times and loved it. Got through eating my shrimp or lobster, whatever I had, and I looked over and I said, well, I'm getting ready to die, so you better take me to the hospital. So they did, and they gave me a shot or two or whatever they did. I don't really remember, and I was okay, and they said, don't ever eat shellfish again. You had a reaction, and the next time it's going to be much worse. So I haven't had shellfish since then, but it was a real strange thing. So those are the two things I don't eat. We have a little bit of a problem getting good fish, but when Doug goes to Chattanooga, or I go to Chattanooga, we'll try to stop at Fresh Market, and if they've got bitter fish down there, we'll bring it here and freeze it, but we probably don't eat as much fish as we should. We eat mostly chicken. We eat some pork. Not the best diet, not the worst diet. Just kind of probably your average American diet, I guess. When I was young, my mother told me, I remember she told me that I could eat anything I want, I just couldn't eat big portions of it. And so that always stuck with me. So I've always eaten what I wanted, but small amounts of it, and I tried to, like, meat no bigger than your hand, and I measure a lot of my food. I measure my cereal in the morning, I measure like popcorn, and I weigh things. I look on the back to see how many calories are on there, and I'll weigh it for that amount of calories. I don't eat many sugars. I probably get plenty of sugars in my diet, my cereals and things like that. So I don't eat candy or cake or cookies or just pies, anything like that, except maybe on a special occasion for a birthday, and then I'll just have a small slice of it. I will eat it during the holidays. Doug and I we both have a weakness for ice cream, so occasionally we will have some ice cream if it's a special occasion, watching a movie or something like that. I do like, before I go to bed, I have developed a weakness for the little pods of the Swiss Miss sugar-free hot chocolate. They're 40 calories, I believe, and I do have a weakness when watching TV for drinking that. My biggest weakness and what will make me gain weight that I have to avoid are venti skinny caramel lattes from Starbucks. I absolutely love them. The weight will start coming on a pound or two at a time. If I have them every day, I could have them every day, probably several times a day, but I can't do that. So I limit myself to just once a week on those. And the rest of the time in the mornings, first thing I have coffee and some cream in it. And by the way, I wanted to mention, if anybody's interested in this, Doug, I've mentioned this before, but Doug roasts his own coffee beans. He buys them raw and green from a company. He's been doing this since, I guess, 25 years. He buys them raw and green from a company, and he has a roaster, and he roasts the coffee beans himself every few days. So our coffee is always extremely fresh. And so if anybody's interested in him doing a video on the whole process of how he does that, I'm sure he would, love to do that, but I didn't know if anybody would be interested or not. So let me know if anybody would be interested in seeing how he does that, because it's kind of interesting, and it just really makes good coffee. So that's I have coffee in the mornings. For breakfast, I don't get up and fix a big breakfast or anything like that. So I'll have a bowl of cereal. I'll have some kind of gluten-free granola or a gluten-free Cheerio type product, and I try to make it organic. We'll have a piece. I'll have fruit on it, usually a banana. Sometimes some blueberries or some sliced peaches on it, something like that. And so that's all I have in the morning. I sip on my coffee very slowly, kind of throughout the morning. And then for lunch, I have a sandwich usually. That's the only. I don't have bread any other time. I don't have bread with my supper or anything like that. But usually have a sandwich for lunch. I can't eat a lot of raw vegetables because they are hard to digest because of my Crohn's disease. So I can't have many salads. I love salads, so once a week I'll sit down and I'll go and have it, fix me a nice salad, and I really look forward to that. But I can't do it too often because they are hard to digest. So all my vegetables usually have to be cooked. So anyway, for lunch I will have a sandwich. I'll have some bougie with it. Kind of to go on with it, this is bougie. It's got like peas and chickpeas and little crackers in it, and it's gluten-free. I just get it at in the aisle of my grocery store. I like this bread. I get it at the grocery too. It's La Brea, gluten-free, multigrain. I think it does a really good job. Gluten-free bread is pretty yucky, but you get used to it. So this is good. Udi's is good. Just, try different gluten-free breads. Some of them are frozen, some of them are sitting out, and see which one you like. Everybody has a different preference for them, so I can't recommend one more over another. The kind of sandwich that I usually have, we'll make chicken salad or we'll make tuna salad. I will buy like some turkey from the deli and some cheese and some spicy mustard or a little mayonnaise. I like tomatoes, so I'll put a tomato on my sandwich. Sometimes I'll put just a little bit of lettuce on it, not too much, because that's hard to digest for me. But I try to get that in. So I'll have either a sandwich or the bougie, and maybe not too much because it's kind of hard to digest too. I'll have some popcorn with it too, instead of the bougie. So just kind of a sandwich and something along with it for lunch. And then in the afternoon for a snack, I always have a piece of fruit. I think a long time ago, I decided that an apple a day would keep the doctor away. So I usually have an apple every day. I buy them organically. Sometimes during Christmas, I will, do the tangerines or the oranges, when they're really good like that. But especially in the fall, I really like the apples. I like pears. But I'll have a piece of fruit. If I'm really hungry, I will add a few nuts to it. Maybe some almonds, just a little bit, not too much, just to kind of give me some protein. If I feel like my blood sugar starts dropping during the day, and that feeling where you feel odd, then I'll go get a scoop of peanut butter, and that helps to bring it back up. So, and then supper, I just have, we fix meat and vegetables, basically. We have chicken, like I said, and whatever strikes our fancy or whatever recipe I see. I cook or I steam or saute or roast our vegetables usually. I roast vegetables a lot because I can just put them in there and I'll put a little olive oil, and we use a lot of olive oil. I'll put a little olive oil and some salt and pepper on it, and especially the peppers, when I'm roasting peppers and the different kinds of zucchinis and squashes, I'll put a little herbs de Provence on it and roast it, and that's really good. We really enjoy that a lot. Or I will, I just have different vegetable recipes. I use a lot of recipes from Giada, from the Food Network, and from Anna, the Barefoot Contessa. I will look at her recipes. I cook a big dinner on Sunday, and I usually cook enough for people to have leftovers a day or two after that. So it might be a roast, it might be meatloaf. I'll fix like 3 pans of meatloaves, and so, we have a huge meal on Sunday. Sometimes I'll just cook a whole bunch of vegetables. We'll go to the Mennonites and just get a whole bunch of fresh vegetables, and I'll cook that. So just mainly meat and vegetables for supper, and then later on, I always seem to have to have my little thing of hot chocolate before I go to bed. And that's pretty much my diet. It's very boring, it's very simple, but the way I have to eat has to be just broken down very simply like that. So it just seems to work best for me. There are so many things that I have to avoid that I kind of really enjoy the things that I actually can have. So it's basically just cereal for breakfast, a sandwich, and a little bit of bougia, a little bit of snack for lunch, an apple for a snack in the afternoon, and meat and vegetables for supper, and that is it. That is what my diet is, and gosh, when I lay it out, it sounds pretty boring. I don't cook very exciting things. But anyway, I really appreciate everyone watching, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the weekend. And if you're celebrating Labor Day, happy Labor Day. Bye-bye.